Barca and City drop points again. Atalanta are just straight running through Serie A this year.
There's a new wolf on the block in Germany, and the weather absolutely saves Everton this past weekend. Much more to come.
Let's dig in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze. We're here with an almost full family. We got Danny P back on the ones and twos. And, of course, I got my man, Hype Man Vic. Hype Man, what are you sipping on?
Tell you what. I have a friend that's leaving Dell, and in honor of him, I'm drinking his favorite bourbon that he told me about. It's Old Forester 1910. It's one of their double oaked offerings that they have. Absolutely delicious. So cheers to you guys. And we're also drinking to our boy Fam winning the championship in his soccer league this past week. That boy, we're gonna have to start covering him on this podcast pretty soon because he's a star coming up.
I know we didn't get his team name.
It's got to be Wham Bam, thank you, Fam, right? That was a good one. Really. Wham Bam, thank you.
Shout out to our boy J Fam's, the Brainiacs team. They won the championship. That's hilarious. And we're back here after a hiatus of a bit. I had a kid, so there's been a lot that's been going on in my life, and I'm sure that things are going to get crazy. And I'll have plenty of stories to tell you guys. But for now, this tired dad, this tired father, is going to run through these European leagues, and we have a lot to talk about. I've been able to watch a lot of soccer lately. I just haven't had a lot of chance to talk about it. So, yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts here. And with that said, I think if there's nothing else from your end, Vic, we could get started. But I want to make sure I'll give you the opportunity. You have the floor.
Austin FC?
No. I didn't know if we were going to talk about, the McDonald's and I'm just kidding. No.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that for
okay, all right.
Well, then let's just jump podcast.
Yes, our conspiracy theory one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's just jump right into the soccer talk then. Let's start with the Wrexham recap. Yes, the Wrexham recap. Good to be back. Wrexham take care of business against Burton 1-0 in the sweet all-black kits. If you've watched the show, you know why I'm bringing this up. Rob McElhenney's blushing every time they walk out there with him. Elliot Lee's curling corner kick turned goal in the 65th minute was enough to get past Burton. And this is now 4 straight wins for Wrexham in League One as they continue to push Wycombe to the brink. They are now second only by 1 goal in goal differential. And this is now the 4th match that has finished 1-0 for them in the past 5 matches. So give us a break here, boys. We don't want all the stress. Get a nice, easy win. And I think we're going to be able to do that. Next up, we have Cambridge United, who are currently sit 22nd in the League One table. So if there's ever a game that we don't have to stress through, boys, please make it this one. Up the town. Oh, you feel that? I need to learn some Wrexham chants and stuff. But yes, man, it's been a fun time seeing them this season. I still can't believe that they're like only a few months away and a few good results from being in the freaking championship, like one lower level before the Prem. That's insane. Anyway, way to go, Wrexham, up the town. Okay, now before we jump into the European wraparound or the European reach around, as I call it, I just want to say we had a lot of matches between here and then. This is the festive fixtures, so there are tons and tons of weekday matches, and we're going to try to get to all of that on top of the fact that we have all of the Champions League stuff coming up. So we're going to try to get all of that stuff to you as it's coming out. Obviously, with a kid, things are a little unpredictable right now, but I really think we're doing the Lord's work out here for all of you European soccer fans. So we're going to continue to push these out. I know that it's going to be a bit of a break too, because there's the winter breaks, Vic, if you're not aware. I know Germany does. I think La Liga does it. I don't know about Serie A, but essentially they take like the end of December through like mid-January off. So we're gonna have some short shows coming up for the European wrap-ups. But okay, with that said, let's get into it. Let's go straight to La Liga.
La Liga. To La Liga.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You got
talking
me.
about. That's what I'm
Nice.
talking about. Okay. Well, we'll start off Friday. We had Mallorca drop 2 straight matches as they fall to Celta Vigo at Balados. Oh, move my thing. 2-0. Mallorca had their chances to win at least 3 headers on target, but it just wasn't meant to be for them. Mallorca continued to drop after getting their flowers. Sandro Ramirez gets a break. This is on Saturday. Check out the second goal for Sandro Ramirez for Las Palmas. The informed Las Palmas might you. That's not what you say. Mind you is what I meant to say. Mind you, as they beat Vix Valladolid 2-1 in what was one of the best matches of the weekend. Barcelona and Real Betis play out a 2-2 draw. Both teams really needed all 3 points, but a stoppage time goal by Asane Dio ensured the points were split. Rayo Vallecano stopped their 3-game losing skid as they beat Valencia on the road 1-0. So many missed chances for both teams. Real Madrid might make easy work of Girona on the road as they get a 3-0 win. Jude Bellingham scored his 5th goal in the last 5 matches. Arda Güler gets on the score sheet as well. You love to see that, especially we do here at the No Business Soccer Podcast. Mbappe is scoring from impossible angles again. Everything is right in Madrid. Everything looks good. And Vinicius Jr. is hurt right now. So what does that say? What is going on? I don't know. I'm not causing any drama here. Sunday, it was a perfect afternoon for Real Sociedad as they beat Los Pepineros on the road. That's now 4 wins in the last 5 La Liga matches for La Real. This one ends Real Sociedad 3, Leganes 0. Leganes. Have you ever seen that Legolas? Anyway, whatever. I'm a nerd.
No.
Bilbao continued their great run of form as they took on Villarreal on a rainy day at the San Mamés to get a 2-0 win. Osasuna and Alaves split the points in a 2-2 draw. Antti Budimir scores again for Osasuna, but some heroics from Alaves keeper Antonio Severa ensured that Alaves were leaving El Sadar with something, like that meme. In one of the best matches you'll see this season, Atletico Madrid come back from a 2-goal deficit to defeat Sevilla 4-3. This one had a bit of everything, and I didn't have this one pegged as the match that would be beating that total over goals for 7. But yeah, that's crazy. 7 goals in this one, Atletico Madrid over Sevilla. Getafe and Espanyol threw down in a relegation battle, and Getafe came out on top, 1-0 win. That was on Monday, just earlier today. And okay, Vic, where does that leave the table?
Well, pretty familiar with the table. You got Barcelona on top. They have 38 points. Real Madrid right behind them with 36 points, although they do have a game in hand. Barcelona, one of the few teams that have played 17 games so far. So with the win, can go up above them with 39 points, obviously. In the third spot, you'll find Atletico Madrid with 35 points. They are on a nice little tear after their loss. They have 5 straight wins. And then Atletico Bilbao, or however you want to say it, 4 straight wins with 32 points. Tickling the top 4, as we say around here, Villarreal, there's a big gap. There's 6 points, but they do have 26 points. There's a 6-point gap between them and Atletico or Bilbao to get in the Champions League spots. And they just had another loss, so not helping their case. But taking a look at the bottom of the table, Espanyol is in the 18th spot. First one's out in relegation with 13 points right now. Valencia is in the 19th spot with 10 points. And then my Boli Dolies, Real Valladolid, come on, get it together, boys. They have 9 points, all doing their best to stay in the bottom. All 3 lost this weekend, so not helping their case, but let's see if we can bounce back. I got to keep saying Valladolid and Boli Doli for one more season, so get it together, guys. Get out of relegation, and let's talk about you guys again next year.
Yeah, that was like our first podcast, like organic. I don't know, nickname. Is that a nickname? Yeah. Whatever. So yeah, well, come on, guys, let's get it together. Okay, well, let's talk about some of these matches and some of the highlights from this weekend. First, let's check in on some Barca stats, shall we? The last 5 La Liga matches they played, they've gone 1 win, 2 draw, and 2 losses. And that's with 10 goals for and 8 goals against. But their goals for are a little skewed since they put 5 past Mallorca. And really, the main difference seems to be that their goal scoring has dried up from earlier this season. In the last 5 La Liga matches, they scored 2 goals. Their totals scored for the last 5 matches is 2, 5, 1, 2, 0. So obviously the 5 goals scored is kind of skewed there, but they've scored outside of that 5 goals, they've scored no more than 2. But prior to this small goal drought, they had only scored less than 3 goals twice in the previous 9 matches. So those totals were 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 7. So they're scoring goals for fun and then all of a sudden they just stop scoring at the rate that they were. And I really don't know what to say is causing that. I mean,
Wonder
maybe,
why.
yeah, I know. Like Lamine Yamal was hurt for 3 matches during this drought, so that could be a big part of it. But if you've watched Barca play recently, you know that he makes a huge difference when he's out there. But they've got to figure it out. He's 17 years old. He can't play every match, and your team can't revolve around this kid solely, right? He can eventually. Maybe he's going to turn out to be that guy. The dude doesn't even have his grown man muscles yet. So it's just really weird that this team has run into this. And to Vic's point, like he was saying, like, duh, why would this happen? Oh, yeah, because Lamine Yamal's out. Yes, but come on. And next, when Sevilla took on Atletico Madrid, we were seeing a mid-table team taking on a top 3 side. But Sevilla got out to a quick start, scoring 3 goals in their first 55 minutes in this one. So 3 goals in the first 55 minutes. Atletico Madrid had only 1 at the time. But for Atleti, something clicked after the calendar turned October to November. And yes, I'm talking about them as a whole. But if you really think about it, they're not a team that's known to have this like goal scoring in them to kind of go after it. And in this match in particular, down 2 goals going into I can't even remember the minute now, the end of the second half. They showed up. They showed that they had some balls, they had some fight, and that they could get the goals they needed. And Griezmann gets a brace, and the second goal coming into 93rd minute to get the win. Man, it's just crazy to see the scenes that happened again. One of those FOMO moments where you like, I wish I was there. But again, like I was saying, since the calendar turned to November, they've just been really consistent and scoring a lot of goals. They've now won 8 consecutive matches in all competitions. With this. This is insane, Vic. 25 goals for and 6 goals against. That's freaking ridiculous. Like the 6 goals against, that makes sense. That's how Atletico usually win games. They just kind of are that team that's like, hard ass defense, but don't score a lot of goals. But no, right now, 25 goals for and 6 goals against in their 8 consecutive match winning streak. And for Sevilla, that's now 3 losses. And only 1 win in the last 5 La Liga matches. So we're just around the corner from the halfway point, and they're still down lower on the table, as you just mentioned. So really, man, this is it's not looking good for Sevilla, for a team that's used to having a lot of success in Europe, in the European competitions as well. So, but for some reason, Atletico decided they were turning it on, and they're doing it at a great time. Where we just talked about how Barca are kind of slumping, and Real Madrid they're doing better now, but they went on a little skid of their own. So. We shall see if Atletico Madrid can take advantage of that. But if you do get a chance, go watch the goals in that game because, Atletico Madrid are just looking awesome right now. I can't wait to see them come up in their next matches.
You see me wearing some Dallas Cowboys stuff. I do believe in defense. Defense wins championships. I think I have a doomsday defense Cowboy back when we were good. Anyway, defense wins championships, and all the top 4 teams in all the leagues, they all are. Some of the top ones have like 10, 11 goals scored against them. We're on match day 16, 14 for some. Having good defense is going to keep you on top. Let's look at Liverpool. But no, other teams too, like Napoli and Serie A has only 10 points or 10 goals scored against them. Bayern Munich has 10 goals scored against them in Bundesliga. Defense wins championships, man, and they seem to be doing it right now, and hopefully they can keep it that way because 5 straight wins in a league like this, they're shooting to the top. Looks good.
The only thing, first off, that was awesome, and I appreciate that. The only thing that I have to say is the Cowboys actually just played a game, so let's take a look at this defense he's talking about. Jamar Chase, 14 receptions, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. That defense is just ridiculous.
I brought that on myself. That was low hanging fruit. That's my fault.
That was best of.
So
but your point stands though.
Yeah, for everyone, we record these Monday night, and Dallas is playing right now, so that's why I have my Dallas stuff on. Okay, so
that's
I'm unfortunately a fan until I die.
But no, you're exactly right, and that was the point I wanted to get across. Is that not only do we always see Atletico with that good defense, but if they're going to be scoring goals like this, and again, go watch the goals they scored, that long distance, back and forth, playing just really fluid. They're going to be really tough to beat. They're going to be really, really tough to beat. So looking forward to their next matches. Okay, enough of that one. Let's go on to Serie A, Italy.
To Serie A.
Okay, I don't know what this was. Whatever. I'm out of it. Okay.
Excitement.
Yeah, there you go. Um, Friday night, Inter take care of business against Parma in a 3-1 win. And that's now 2 straight Serie A wins for Inter coming off of that Napoli draw in early November. Atalanta and Milan threw down on Friday night in a fun back and forth affair. The difference is the difference in the match was Adamola Lookman's 86-minute header, and Atalanta win this one 2-1. I should just said the ATL, the A, win 2-1. The bigger news is that Pulisic came off with a calf injury, so we'll have to check on that and see how he's doing. Breathe easy, all you Americans out there.
Do have an update on that, but we'll talk about it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I think he tore his calf muscle. He'll be out until at least I don't know if it tore off the bone. I might be speaking in hyperbole a little bit. I guess I can look it up, but yeah, it was not good. It was
that's not good. Okay,
at least till January.
That's sucks. I that is one injury that I actually have had. My calf popped one time, and I can tell you I'm not even a freaking fraction of an athlete that he is, and I couldn't even walk. Like, I was just trying to go to my fridge to get some kind of snack or something. I couldn't even walk. So I can only imagine that hurts a lot for him trying to get back to freaking sprinting and running for 90 minutes at a time, way more.
Well,
yeah,
it's a little worse. He tore his calf muscle, and that marks the end of his 2024 season with AC Milan. So,
oh god, so he's out at least through May.
Yeah, he's gonna miss the remainder of the 2024 season with them. And man, that sucks.
That does suck. I wonder what U.S. matches he's missing. Damn, I should have checked this before I put these notes up here. I didn't even look into it. That sucks, man. Okay. Well, let's get to that. Was on Friday. Let's keep going. Saturday, Genoa and Torino finished 0-0, which means we can't talk about it much here, but don't hate the play, hate the game. You know, if you want us to talk about you, score some goals. Juventus and Bologna played out an entertaining 2-2 draw where basically every goal was a banger. This was a fun one. Check it out. Juventus, I'm not sure about the kits they're wearing, these like yellow ones. We talked about it in the summer too. I'm not a big fan of them. They're gross. I don't like them. But anyway, Bologna looks cool though. Roma take down the Milkmen 4-1. The 4 goals that Roma scored in this one was the most goals they scored in a single match all season. And this one is the Claudio Ranieri effect, or let's say the Claudio Ranieri goals effect.
Ooh,
does that work?
Stretching that one. He's stretching that one.
Okay, all right, fine.
Not bad.
I tried it. Sunday, Fiorentina survive a scrappy affair with Cagliari to get a 1-0 win at the Artemio Franchi, our stomping grounds, as we call it. More on them in a bit. Verona fall to Empoli 4-1. That's now 4 Serie A losses in a row for Verona as they continue to slide into the relegation zone of the Serie A table. Como and Venezia in 2-2 on a rainy day in Venice. So rainy that the one camera that they had on this match had water on it the entire time. It was so annoying. And I just caught the end of the highlights because I couldn't stand anymore. In a blockbuster matchup between 2 top 5 teams, Napoli fall at home to Lazio 1-0. Our Lazio, they're killing it. This match could have massive implications on the Scudetto race as the top 5 in Serie A gets closer and closer and closer as these teams are playing each other. And Monday, today, we had Udinese get a much-needed 2-1 win over Monza to get their first win in the last 5 Serie A matches, while Monza are still firmly locked in the relegation battle. Vic, what does the table look like?
Yeah, well, Atalanta is absolutely destroying lately. They have 6 in a row just on this table. You see, they haven't. I think they've won 9. They haven't lost since September 24th. I did see that. I think they have 2 ties since then, and everything else has been, or 2 draws. Sorry, everything else has been a win. They are in an absolute tear to end out the year. So they're in the top spot with 34 points. Napoli is right behind them with 32 points, although they did just lose. So Atalanta took over the first spot with that. Inter Milan and Fiorentina are tied with 31 points in the 3rd and 4th spot, respectively. And Lazio is in the 5th spot, our Lazio, with 31 points, tickling the top 4, as we say around here. At the bottom, you'll see Hellas Verona. You just talked about them with 4 straight losses. They have 12 points and are in the 18th spot. I'll learn to talk here in a second. Monza is in the 19th spot with 10 points, and then Venezia still has not earned their badge on this table with 9 points. They did get a draw, so they're trying. Well, they didn't. They had 8 points for a long time, so we'll see. I'm still not going to add it until they at least get out of relegation, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Not this season. Doesn't seem like it anyway. Yeah, we'll actually. That was a great talking point that I had, and you kind of led right into it. So we'll jump into that one. What Fiorentina and Atalanta are doing right now is incredible. It's really cool to see. Atalanta are now on a 9-game winning streak, as Vic said, in the Serie A, and Fiorentina are on an 8-game winning streak. So I mean, they're just tearing through the league right now. And for the A, they haven't allowed more than 1 goal in their last 10 matches in Serie A. That's insane. The match that they did let in more than 1 goal was the loss to Como 3-2 on the 24th that Vic was talking about. So that September 24th game they lost was the only game where they've allowed more than 1 goal, which they're just that offensively, defensively doesn't matter for them. And for Viola, oddly enough, they also haven't allowed more than 1 goal in their last 10 Serie A matches. And the time that they did allow the goal was a 3-2 loss for them as well. But it was back to Atalanta actually on September 15th. So these teams are pretty much mirroring each other, except Atalanta are kind of doing it at a little bit higher of a rate. And that's why they're a little higher up the table. It does feel like the A's run, Atalanta's run at the top of the table is kind of more sustainable than Fiorentina's. I don't even know why. Like I obviously kind of lean more Fiorentina. I know we went there, so it's kind of partial to them. But either way, both of these teams, the way they ended last season, getting to the Conference League and Europa League finals, with Atalanta actually winning their Europa League against Leverkusen, it seems that they just kind of took that with a little bit of swagger and were like, you know what? We are way better than most of the Serie A teams. How about we act like it? But the crazy thing is for Atalanta, they've kind of been there. They've been in the Champions League spots, the Europa League spots for a while. Fiorentina, they kind of get into the conference spots. That's when we saw them last. So, I mean, they're used to being kind of the lower end of the top European spaces, but the way they're playing, they're really, I mean, if they can keep this up for a while, they should be thinking title. They should be thinking Scudetto, as they say in Italy, and they probably said that wrong. So, but next up for Fiorentina is Bologna, Udinese, and Juve. And for Atalanta, it's Cagliari, Empoli, and Lazio. And not to mention that they also get a visit from a team called Real Madrid in the Champions League as well. So it's going to be fun to see these guys play out, Vic. Are you ready to wear that Fiorentina and get that Scudetto, get that Serie A title?
Yeah, it's going to be worth a lot of money after that.
I know, right? And this one I learned, I got this one off the cart outside of the stadium, not from the inside of the stadium. So
save a little bit of money. Yeah, they've both been tearing it up. I did watch. They're not going to play each other until I think March. So I think the end of March too. But that would have been cool to see them both match up right now, see where they come. Because I think last time they played was probably the mid-September, and the Fiorentina lost 3-2 to Atalanta. And that's kind of what started both of their runs, honestly. They've been tearing it up ever since. And yeah, we'll see if we can keep it together. And I'll be rooting for Fiorentina, our own stopping grounds.
That's crazy that they don't play till March. I was wondering it myself. I mean, we're both just kind of talked about how the last time they played was in September, but I was hoping that it would be, January, something like that, something soon while they're on these runs. Who knows what the hell is going to be happening in March, right? Like they both could have multiple losses by then, but that's unfortunate. But either way, we talked about their upcoming matches. It's going to be fun to see how they perform. Okay, let's move right along. Last Sunday, a Roma player, and we didn't really talk about this. A Roma player on loan at Fiorentina, Eduardo Bove, suffered a cardiac arrest on the pitch just as things were kicking off against Inter. We were all texting about it. I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was trying to watch the game, and it was delayed, or it just said due to player safety or something of that nature. But it was scary scenes as he collapsed on the pitch and was rushed to the hospital. It's very similar to the Christian Eriksen situation in the Euros for a couple of years back. And Bove, I think it's how you pronounce it, Bove, will have surgery to place a defibrillator in his chest which effectively ends his career in Italian football because they have clauses where you're things like that on the contracts where you can't play with that type of equipment. So I have no idea what the future holds for this young man. But either way, it's really unfortunate, and it's kind of crazy that these are happening more and more frequently. No idea why. Maybe they happened before, but we just didn't hear about it because social media wasn't a thing, and coverage of these leagues wasn't as big as it is now. I don't know, but this is scary stuff. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, Vic, any thoughts? Yeah. Anything you want to say?
No, it was just pretty freaky watching again how it's happening, and it's all over too. I mean, we've seen it in here in football, NFL. Seen it a couple of times in soccer. There've been like college basketball players and stuff, high school players have gone down pretty recently. It's scary every single time. You hope for nothing for the best for them, and yeah, it's gonna suck. I'm sure he's heartbroken not being able to play anymore.
Is that a pun? Did you do a pun for a guy that had a heart attack?
I was trying to go right past that. Damn it. Wow. I was trying to go right past that. He was heartbroken because he can't play Italian soccer anymore. But no, man, I just wish the best for him, and hope he gets back and playing somewhere, doing something he can kind of stay with the game.
Yeah, if you recall, Christian Eriksen, when this happened to him, he was playing for Inter at the time, and he now plays for Manchester United because that contract had to be forfeited because he had a defibrillator. So kind of fucked up if you think about it. Like, oh, sorry, you can't play here anymore because you almost died. So go somewhere else. Anyway, that's unfortunate, but maybe we'll get into it another time. It is my heart brothers, my heart goes out to my brothers.
There you go.
Okay. Another one that I want to do is a shout out to Parma, who've won 2 of their last 5 matches, including a 3-1 win over informed Lazio. Mind you, as I was trying to say that earlier, points is points in a relegation battle, and they currently aren't even in a relegation battle. They're sitting 13th in the table, as Vic said, with a match against 18th place Verona coming up this weekend. So it's a massive match for relegation implications as far as Verona is concerned. But for Parma, if they come away with 3 points, they could be sitting comfortably in mid-table going into the halfway point of the season. And I didn't see that coming from a Parma team. I mean, maybe just a month ago even. They looked like a team that was going to be in that relegation scrap, but they've put together a few wins, and now they're sitting pretty. And I remember I kind of called out a few of their players. Dennis Mann is really fun to watch. He gets a goal too, but this team is fun to watch, and I couldn't believe how well they started the season to how bad it was. And now they're right back up there. 3 wins in the last 5. I mean, or 2 wins in the last 5. And it could be 3 after this Verona match. So either way, it's fun seeing them play, and they have some awesome kits and great players. So I just hope they continue it. Shout out to Parma. And Vic, anything about like Parmesan cheese? Is it from there? I don't know.
I don't know. We better go check it out.
All right.
We better go check it out.
Yeah. Okay. And that is it for Serie A. I think next you want to go to Bratwurstland?
I think so. To Bundesliga.
Just realized that could have been offensive, and I apologize.
It's okay.
Shouldn't do that. Anyway,
sure all of our German fans listening.
I know, right? Forgive me. Okay. Friday, Stuttgart take all 3 points from Union Berlin on a night that the Union keeper would love to get back as he unexplainably, I don't know how to say that, passed the ball directly to the Stuttgart player who buries his chance easily. This one ends VfB 3, Union 2. And sorry, something on my nose. If you watch this, I have no idea what he was thinking. He literally passes the ball directly to the Stuttgart player just for him to be able to score. No idea what happened there. Saturday, Leverkusen gets a 2-1 win at home over St. Pauli. Check out the filthy Lil Uzi Vert's goal. And while you're at it, St. Pauli's goal wasn't bad either. It was really just as gross. This match was awesome to see. I've talked about St. Pauli on here before. Even though they're not really a good team, they play lights out from start to finish. And especially against a team in Leverkusen that's going to do the same. It was a fun game to watch. And, of course, the goals were awesome. So go see them. Bayern Munich keep up their incredible run in the Bundesliga with a 4-2 win over the Double H, as we call them here, or maybe I'm the only one that calls them that. Heidenheim. Jamal Musiala gets a brace in this one, and it's 2 sexy goals to boot. Check them out. Leipzig stopped their skid of 4 Bundesliga matches without a win as they beat Holstein Kiel 2-0. Sesko gets another goal in this one, and don't look now. He's getting hot. Eintracht Frankfurt and Augsburg finished 2-2 after Kevin Trapp decided to have an off day and give up 2 goals that he really shouldn't be letting in. If Frankfurt are going to keep up with Bayern at the top, they really can't have days like this. They need to get it together. Werder Bremen get a scrappy 1-0 win over the bottom of the table Bochum. Bochum had more shots, possession, and shots on target in this one, and they still lost. That's tough. They really felt like the better team on the night if you watch the game, but it didn't matter. They lost anyway, so they're just doomed. Gladbach and Dortmund split the points after they finished 1-1. The roller coaster that is Dortmund in the 24-25 season continues. Sunday, we saw Wolfsburg beat Mainz 4-3 as they've truly turned a corner in their season, and we'll talk about them more in a sec. Hoffenheim and Freiburg go 1-1 as the new coach bump is alive and well in Hoffenheim. But for Freiburg, that's now only 1 win in the last 5 Bundesliga matches. The slump is real for them. Okay, Vic, what that table see? What that table look like?
Well, that table C, Bayern Munich is on top with 33 points. Pretty normal to see them there. Eintracht Frankfurt is not right behind them, but has 27 points in the second spot. Bayern Leverkusen has 26 points in the third spot, and RB Leipzig rounding out the top 4 with 24 points. Tickling the top 4 is Wolfsburg and Borussia Dortmund, but Wolfsburg, Borussia Dortmund, then it goes Freiburg, Stuttgart, Mainz, Werder Bremen, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Union Berlin, and Augsburg. They have 21 points, 20, 19, 18, and 16. Those 9 teams are 5 points apart, and 9 teams is half of the table, all trying to get into at least a Europa League spot. Hopefully, Leipzig will lose a game or 2 and get them fighting for the top 4. It's really tough right there in the middle of the table. At the bottom of the table, not tough at all. Holstein Kiel has 5 points, and boy, Bochum, I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of saying that, but they have 2 points, got so close, or looked pretty good this weekend. But man, 2 draws, that's all they have after 13 games. Not looking good for them. Holstein Kiel, barely better than that. They got 1 win and 2 draws with 5 points, but those 2 seem to be firmly at the bottom of the table, cemented in, and man, it's not looking good for them, and I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around this season.
Yeah, the other team that I want to talk about that really doesn't look like they're going to be able to turn around their season. Another team that I think I gave flowers to. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I gave flowers to. I probably is Union Berlin. What the hell happened to that team? I think whenever I talked about them, they were like sitting in 8th or 7th place, something like that. I have to find the recap that we talked about them. But I was talking about how this season seemed like the season they were going to be pushing for those European spots after being, kind of up and down. And now they're 12th with four losses in their last 5 matches. They haven't won. There was a draw the other match of that 5. It's just really bad to see them. And especially whenever they were playing so well, whenever we were talking about them, how the top of that table in the Bundesliga was so competitive. They've really just played their way out of the top. And it's really, if they can't turn things around, they might be closer to not a relegation scrap, because thankfully for them, there's 2 teams that are firmly at the bottom, as Vic said. But they're only 6 points ahead of Heidenheim. So, I mean, that seems like a lot, but 2 matches. So, Union Berlin, not sure what happened to them. They definitely need to turn it around. The team that I do want to talk about in a positive light, though, is Wolfsburg. As we were talking about at the top of the show, there's a new Wolf on the block in Germany. Wolfsburg, here are your flowers, and please do not. Is that the curse?
Yeah,
is that the curse?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's your flowers, Wolfsburg. After defeating Mainz this weekend, that's now 4 straight Bundesliga wins and 5 straight wins in all competitions. They have 12 goals for and 5 goals against in that 4-game winning streak, and they're now unbeaten in their last 8 matches. Last loss for Wolfsburg was to Werder Bremen back on October 20th. So they're now up to 5th in the table. And as Vic said, and I'm excited to see where they're going to finish off. Coming up for Wolfsburg, we have Freiburg and Dortmund before the winter break. So Freiburg and Dortmund, those are tests. I mean, if you can go through and get 4 points from those two games, that's awesome. So Freiburg are a little bit of a slump right now. Dortmund, we don't know what the hell they're going to do from week to week. But either way, Wolfsburg, if you're going to try to be real this season, let's do it. Let's see where they end up at the winter break, and we'll check back in on our little Wolfies.
And that should like that. Should give it a little bit more parity because they all have 21 points, and they're all fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh in the table. So that's going to be interesting. Going to mix some stuff up, and hopefully, like I said, those just outside of that Europa spot league in the 7th, 8th spot, maybe they can sneak some points in and sneak into some of those spots where they can get the Europa League. And if Leipzig does even worse, maybe the Champions League. Who knows? It's going to be a pretty interesting couple weeks.
Definitely is. It's always fun to see the Bundesliga season because that it's kind of feels like it's definitely half and half, where their winter break, like before it, is a whole season, and then after it is a different season as well. But if Wolfsburg can finish the first half of their season in great position, then yeah, we'll be talking about them a lot coming into the spring. Okay, that is it for the Bundesliga. I think it is time for everybody's favorite place. Let's go to England.
Let's do it. On to the Prem. Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice. Okay. Let's start with some matches on Saturday. The Merseyside Derby was postponed due to some crazy hellish storms in the UK. Just throwing it out there because Vic called it out earlier. Brentford get back on track after losing last time out and get a 4-2 win over Newcastle. For the Magpies, I thought things had turned around after they fought for that 3-3 draw with Liverpool in matchday 14, but the roller coaster season continues. Aston Villa gets a 1-0 win over Southampton at the winning goal was scored by none other than the birthday boy getting his first start of the season, mind you, Johan Duran. It's crazy to think that this guy was with Chicago Fire just 2 years ago. City's fall from grace continues as they draw with Crystal Palace 2-2. That's now one win in their last 9 matches in all competitions. And that's just insane to say and think about. Ruben Amorim, you like I did that? Ruben Amorim's United side fall 3-2 to Nottingham Forest. Forest get their first win at Old Trafford in 30 years. Let's check in on Amorim's side more in a second. Sunday, Fulham and Arsenal finish 1-1, and for Fulham, they are quietly having a hell of a season, while Arsenal's title hopes might have just been gashed with that result. Leicester get a much-needed point against Brighton as this one finished 2-2. That's now 3 matches without a win for Brighton as they've fallen out of the European places. Brighton had a 2-0 lead in this one going into the 80th minute. Think about that. Let me just say that again. Brighton had a 2-0 lead in this one going into the 80th minute. There you go. That's how I should have said that. Heartbreaker for them. Bournemouth get a 95th minute winner to take home all 3 points from Ipswich. This one ends Bournemouth 2, Ipswich 1. And Chelsea take care of Tottenham in North London in a back and forth affair that ends 4-3 to Chelsea. It's hard to believe that Spurs had a 2-0 lead in this one. Monday, West Ham get all 3 points against relegation-threatened Wolves as they finished West Ham 2, Wolves 1. Over to Vic for the table.
Gotta tell you, that table still looks pretty despite the weather saving Everton, at least for now. Liverpool are still on top with 35 points and a game in hand, above Chelsea with 31 points. Behind them is Arsenal with 29 points, and no matter how hard they try, they're still in the top 4. Manchester City with 27 points, tickling the top 4 is Nottingham Forest with 25 points in the 5th spot. At the bottom of the table, you'll find little Ipswich Town and Wolverhampton Wanderers tied with 9 points in the 18th and 19th spot, respectively. And Southampton has 5 points, holding up the rest of the table, doing their best to keep up with Ipswich and Wolverhampton by losing the last 2 and drawing, not having a win in 5 matches. So doing their best to stay up. And we're just going to give a little honorable mention. We can't give them the full Thanos award because they don't have the a 0 goal differential, but Newcastle United getting a half Thanos award with 5 wins, 5 draws, and 5 losses. You know, almost perfectly balanced, but they do have a negative 2 point differential. If they had a 0, they'd get the full report.
They ruined it.
Yeah, but it's getting close. So wanted to call that out as well.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about Ruben Amorim, Manchester United side. I don't know why I like saying that.
It's fun.
The R, the Portuguese R, Ruben Amorim. But let's talk about his United side and see where we are with him. In the 5 matches since he took the reins over from now Leicester bossman Ruud van Nistelrooy, Amorim has gone 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses with 8 goals for and 8 goals against. That seems pretty balanced to me. But now expectations of him coming in tactically changing things, personnel changes midseason, that was never going to happen. The guy, he's only had 5 matches and he's coming in from another team. Like it's going to take some time. But I think what happened was that the general vibe of him coming in was super positive after his Sporting Lisbon beat City in the Champions League, and it was really, really impressive. But since he came over, it just hasn't. The results haven't been that impressive, and so it feels like it's a little stale. Like everybody's kind of like, "Oh man," like they thought that United was going to be back, which is kind of weird because there's no way. I mean, not no way. I guess there was a possibility that he would come in and change things around mid-season. But the good thing is he still has a January transfer window coming up, which we'll probably have a lot to talk about there. And if he brings anyone in, maybe Gyökeres from Sporting, that could be someone that kind of turns things around for them. But this was always going to take time, and I don't really know. I'm just giving you the numbers. I'm not telling you what I think or how you should feel about this team. But Vic, looking at these things that I talked about, how do you feel how would you feel if you were a United fan?
Well, I'm obviously biased, but I mean, it hasn't been too bright for them. I don't know how I'd feel. It's kind of hard to even put myself in that mindset, being a Liverpool fan. You know what I mean? But
Okay,
yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it's I really felt like the all the vibes like I was talking about were super high, and then it just kind of flatlined. It's kind of like cool, he's there and he's I guess better than Ten Hag, but I don't know. So we'll see after the January transfer window. We'll see where they're at. But I don't think anybody's scared to play them right now. So it is what it is. Okay, I think we have to talk about it. Since Spurs beat City in the Premier League 4-0, they've played 4 matches in all competitions and have drawn against Roma, drawn against Fulham, and lost back-to-back games in the Prem against Bournemouth and Chelsea. They've looked tired. They've looked leggy. They brought back Van de Ven and Cuti Romero from injury for this match against Chelsea, and both of them were injured in this match after they just came back. So were they pushed too fast? I don't know. Were they ready to come back? I don't know. I can't tell you that. All I know is that they got injured again. So that sucks. And they continued to look shaky on defense. Obviously, losing 2 of your top guys will do that to you, but it's not fun to watch when you just know that we're going to give up a goal. The only thing that I can say is that if your team isn't as good as it should be because your top defenders are out, then maybe switch things up in your tactics. Don't go all out all the time because that's your identity. Because if even good coaches, managers, whatever you want to call them, they have a way of knowing how the game is playing out and how to change it, how to change their team to what's going on in the actual match, not just I do it this way, so let's do it. I mean, it's like square peg, round hole is what they call it, right? Like you're just like shoving it, and eventually it's going to break to your will, I guess. But it's just not fun right now, man. And I have no idea what happens if this crappy season continues with Ange Postecoglou. But I don't think a coach swap is what's needed at this point, because when they're on, they're on. But you can't win 4-0 against City and then do this straight. Like go winless in 4 straight after that. That's just something it's ridiculous. And obviously I'm a Spurs guy, so it's, a little bit more, what's the word? It hits home a little bit more for me, but I'm sure for other teams like Liverpool and everybody, you're kind of like, oh, cool, stay with that team because you suck. You're not going to beat us. Even though I think, have we played this season? I can't remember, but I do remember we beat y'all right before we left Italy. So that's fair,
Oh, well, fun. Yeah. I don't know if we played this season. I think we have. Let me check.
No, there's no needs to check.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Probably not. No big deal.
We're just scrolling. We're scrolling. Let's see.
Did we?
I can't
I'm
find
just
it.
waiting.
It's the only one with two birds on our
I know.
logos.
Well, I'm waiting for.
Yeah, there it is. What's in May? Doesn't count.
That was last season.
Yeah, we haven't played this season yet.
Okay. Oh, see, that's what I thought.
But we did win 4-2.
Okay. All right.
That's
all
cool.
right. Fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is, Spurs. They're very confusing. They're one of the most confusing teams that I can't figure out, and they happen to be the team that I follow and I support. So it's not fun. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's there. It's something I got to deal with. But hopefully they get this thing turned around. I think I still believe in Ange. I like the way that they play whenever they're on. We just got to figure out why they're not on. Like, what happens? Do we need to switch things up? I don't know. Let's do it though. Okay, that's enough of me bitching.
Just leave it.
Just leave it. No big deal.
It's fine. It'll figure itself out.
Anything else in the Prem you want to talk about, Vic? Who does Liverpool have this weekend?
We have. I knew this like just the other day because I know we play Girona tomorrow. So I'll be watching that at BD Rallies in case you're there. Yeah, we Fulham. Yeah. Oh no, I was kind of upset. Me and Danny P in the back, we were ready to go at 4:30 in the morning to go.
Y'all were.
To go watch
sure.
Everton Liverpool, but then they canceled it. So
all I know is that
looking out for Everton there.
I know that's a lie because Danny P, right before we came on, was telling us how he had to be up real early to go because, he has this stuff. He's got to go real early to work. And he's like, I got to be at work at 8. What?
It's not early.
How is that early?
That's normal. That's exactly normal.
Anyway. Okay.
That's funny.
Just blast.
Like, no, you said early. Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, either way, I was going. He actually he texted me at like 4:15 or something like that because his cat woke him up, and he's like, it's postponed. I was like, oh damn.
The best thing about this is he can't say anything right now.
Yeah, no.
So we just talk about him.
He doesn't like to talk on air either, so we can just talk all the shit we want.
If he wanted to, he could definitely come in and say.
He could also cut all this out as well because he can cut all
the magic. The magic of producing. Okay. All right, we've talked enough here. We're coming up on the hour mark. Okay, well, I think that about does it. The next time you'll see us, we'll be covering the recap of the Champions League matches or the European matches that happen, and then recapping or looking forward to the weekend. I think that's it. Vic, take us home.
All right. Again, thanks everybody for spending your time with us and talking some European football. Please subscribe, definitely comment. Yes. Tell our boy Adam congratulations on the baby. Tell me congratulations on being a funkle. I got to the hospital and the first thing I did to uphold my funkle duties is open the beer. I had a beer. His wife.
He almost cracked a beer on my daughter. He oh shit! He almost spilled it on her. That's a true story. We were all like, "What are you doing?"
Send a quick congrats. We'll interact with you guys too. It's good talking to you guys, and hope to see you guys soon. We will again, like Snoo said, we're going to be back later this week talking about the European Champions League, Conference League, whatever they are, and looking ahead. And again, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. I'll cut this off right now because I'm starting to ramble. Peace.